أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذي يذهب الله عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي فوض أمري إلى الله بصير بالعباد. Assalamu alaikum jamian wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our Saturday session into this holy book Quran, and we are on a journey to explore Ayatul Kursi. So last week we were talking about this feeling of feeling worthy of God, and it was connected to diseases in the heart and our connection to God. And today I'm inspired to share with you all something which I experienced myself, and I thought, it's a very good time in this verse to share with you all this idea of honor, an idea of respect. Now, when we open the Ayatul Kursi, we say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allahu la ilaha. Now, we have done Ilah before, but today I want to see it in a different perspective. And how you all know, I don't like to go fast. I just like to go deeper and deeper because, everybody, everywhere we do see very fast and very simple understanding of the Quran. And I like to go deeper because that's where the transformation is. So this word Ilah, according to this Quran app that I use, it gives you the root words and the meanings. I think it's called Quran study. And over here, there are a couple of words that are describing the word Ilah. And it says the meanings of this word, Alif Lam Ha, are to serve, worship, or adore, to protect, grant refuge, preserve and save, rescue, liberate, an object of worship that is God, and the one true God applied as proper name denoting true God, comprising all the excellent divine names, a unity comprising all the essences of existing things. So this is what they have given all these words for the word Ilah. Now, Ilah, initially, all these words are talking about protection and refuge and preservation and rescue and liberation. And that's why I'm inspired to share with you a journey into exploring our own understanding of what God means to us and how it affects us in our character, in our daily interactions with people. Okay, if truly God is our Ilah, how is it affecting us in our daily interactions? Now, we've constantly talked about how having a good character is what we're striving for, because emulating the names of God and emulating a good character in our being is what takes us closer to God. Because God, the Holy Prophet is saying, adopt the qualities of God. And so constantly our striving is to emulate these good characters. Now, what we want on a daily basis is a good countenance. We want to have a good character. We want to be polite and presentable and wise. And we want to be those who take a pause. I have a request from you all, just by the way. If my voice goes away, just tell me, because it might be something to do with the mic. Also, I've had a very bad cough, so I might have to shorten the session or take breaks in the middle. So that's why my voice is slow today. Okay. So this good countenance, this good character that we want. So in my insights this week, when I was writing my notes, this is what I came to understand. A good countenance is a direct result of faith and belief in God and his existence and his goodness. How is that? Because imagine we're in a situation with somebody. Generally, when we're interacting with somebody, are we on our guard or are we feeling safe in that environment? Depending on how safe we feel, the less defensive we're going to be, the less protective we're going to be of ourselves. Okay. Now, if I feel that the other person can wrong me in any way, then I will be edgy. I won't be able to stay polite. I won't be able to trust the person. So my tone and voice is going to be different. My body language is going to be different. My generosity with who I am is going to be different. My acceptance of that person in who they are is going to be very limited, because I might be judging them that they're not safe for me. Like, for example, will somebody pass a bad comment on me? Will they stay polite with me? Or will they take advantage of me, right? A lot of times when our inner healing is not done, especially with family members, we feel this trigger that they're out to get something out of me or take me for granted, you know? And a lot of those feelings happen when we are feeling burnt out. You know, in any family situation or any relationship where we are feeling that we're burnt out and we've given too much to somebody, we've done too much, we stay on this guard that somebody will take me for granted, that I will be used. I'm not protected here. This person does not have my good at heart. They don't intend good for me. They're here to get more and more out of me, suck it out of me, kind of thing. So what does faith in God do? Faith in God is there to understand that, number one, if God is Qadir Mutlaq, as in there is no one else more powerful than him, then that would mean that these people have no power over doing any bad to me. But now these are just words. And this is an understanding that needs to seep deep into our hearts and get absorbed into our hearts in order for us to start feeling it, that, okay, God is more powerful than this person, and they can't take me for granted. They cannot take me for a ride. They will not mislead me. They will not use me unnecessarily. So there are different kinds of protection that we need. We want to feel protected from being thugged, cheated, from financial loss, like somebody cheats us financially. And, then there is this whole aspect of being mistreated, which I wanted to go deeper into, which is, will I be disrespected? Okay. And this is something, obviously, because I felt that. So I thought, let's explore it. Why am I feeling that somebody can disrespect me and I need to protect my honor? You know, um, and I hope it's also something that you all experience. And this is something that I see, because especially like here, respect and honor just gets translated into so many things, right? Because respect and honor is about a woman's clothing for a man over here. There are honor killings in our part of the world, where, what is this honor? What is this respect? What is this honor and respect that we so try to protect, we're so trying to be on guard with, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Quran, وَتُعِزُّ مَن تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَن تَشَاءُ بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرُ. So your honor and your dishonor are both, but وَتُعِزُّ مَن تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَن تَشَاءُ بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرُ. It's all in his hands, right? All honor comes from God. What is this honor? Can we just think for a minute? If I say honor and if I say the word respect, what is it? Is it a tangible thing? What image comes in my mind? What does honor and respect look like? And why are we so bent upon protecting this honor that we get triggered? If somebody says something to us which we find disrespectful, we get triggered. So we want to understand this. And to see this, we say that, okay, if someone disrespects me, it means they have taken a part of my respect away from me. So first of all, I found it very difficult to visualize what is this respect that I'm holding, and then what is this disrespect that somebody's taking away from me. If somebody disrespects me, what part of me did they take away? Did they snatch away from me, which I'm so trying to protect? And I would really appreciate if any of you have any input to give to me here, because this is a very genuine question. Now, if we, I'll wait for you guys. I'm talking, but please feel free to type in the chat. Now, going further, respect can be translated as reputation. That, okay, there's a reputation I have that I need to protect. So let's go deeper into reputation. Now, reputation, in my understanding and in my very limited understanding, is in the eyes of two entities. One is a reputation in the eyes of God. What does God think of me? And the other reputation is in the eyes of people. So what do people think of me? So there are two kinds of honor, right? One is, am I still honorable with a good reputation in the eyes of God? And the other is in the eyes of people. With God, it's a very simple process. I made a mistake. I went to God. I said, God, I made a mistake. God is all forgiving. He'll say, okay, obviously I'm all forgiving, but be careful because what you're doing is not good for you. So just go and, sort it out and I forgive you. It's very simple with God, right? Because God says, my mercy overcomes my wrath. And his name is Al-Ghafur and Ghaffar and so many of his names. He's forgiving. So we know it very clearly that La taqnatu bi rahmatillah. Don't be disappointed with God's mercy. Oh soul who has wronged, don't ever despair God's mercy. So with God, it's very simple. I make a mistake, I go to him, I talk to him. There's a process of returning to him, inaba, tawbah. I go back, I talk to God, and I'm reinstated. My honor is reinstated. My reputation is reinstated. What about people? With people, there is a whole lot that we need to see. What and why people respect is something they can do today, but not tomorrow. Because number one, these people who choose to respect me can be alive today and they may perish tomorrow. So the person who is respecting me today may not even be alive tomorrow. The respect I have today may just not be available, may not even be alive tomorrow, right? Number one. Number two, the ideas that people hold of what is respectful or what is a good reputation are flawed, because human beings are flawed. And so human beings are in an always state of change. And so their ideas of respect and reputation are not whole. They are in a state of change. So they may be there today and their ideas may change tomorrow. So number one, people can perish. Number two, ideas of reputation can perish. And number three, because human beings are flawed and imperfect, human beings are generally not always happy with the same thing. So a lot of times we realize, and I saw that in my life, that there was a phase in my life where I was running after validation from people. And the more I tried to please them and make them happy, the more I realized that there was really no limit to making people happy. They'll be happy with one thing, but they'll find something else to not be happy about. They'll find something to praise, but then there'll be five other things that they will not be liking, right? And it's just something very simple. Like, for example, people with whom you're seeking validation may like the color red a lot today. And because I'm wearing red today, I'll feel very validated and accepted today. But tomorrow, their ideas of colors may change and they may say, oh my God, red is so bright and red is so dressy. And why are you so dressed up? And then suddenly blue is a good color for them because they're in a constant state of change. And now you finally decided you're going to wear red because this person likes red and they'll make you feel accepted and loved. And they will give you this validation. And suddenly now red is not acceptable. So it's like running after a mirage because it doesn't really exist. We're seeking a validation from not an anchored central point, but a point that keeps moving. And the minute you reach that point has already moved, right? Now, in all of this seeking of validation and honor from people and what their ideas are, what benefit do we get out of seeking respect and reputation from people? Now, can we say that a lot of times we can achieve favors from people, right? Like, if you do what puts you into good books with your boss, then it will give you a better salary, a promotion, better working conditions, better behavior. That is one thing. And even if it's your friends, they may invite you more. Excuse me. They may be better friends with you. You'll be part of a community, part of a group. You feel accepted. You feel part of something bigger, and you receive praise. If people accept you and validate you and they give you honor, what is the benefit? They praise you and they'll say, oh, we love you. We enjoy having part of our parties. We like to hang out with you. You're so nice. You're this, you're that. So they praise us. And that's what makes us feel respected and honored. And so in seeking to maintain a certain reputation or respect, we're getting these two benefits. Number one is risk, favors. Number two is praise and validation. Now, again, let's go deeper into this. If somebody puts us in their good books and they like us or they love us, this is based upon these people's likes and dislikes and their choices. Number one. Number two, their liking us also depends on what they see in me, what is visible of me. Perhaps it's my clothes, it's my actions, it's my speech, it's my manners, it's my possessions. I remember, I don't forget this incident. I was in grade 9 and I switched my school, and I was a very not so cool person back then. Like, I had no sense of dressing. My English was really bad, so I could hardly speak fluent English. And I was a very naive kid. And I'd suddenly switched schools, and I'd gone into this big school where there were all these cool kids, and they didn't really like me. So nobody really talked to me. And, it was a very sad 1 year when I joined that school. And I remember that, I was not into any of these brands at that time, right? And all these girls, they're like teenagers, and they would just not want to have anything to do with me. Like, I was just completely invisible. And then one fine day, I realized that this really cool girl comes up to me and she wants to talk to me. And she's asking me about all the things I have, and she's talking to me. And I suddenly realized that she was really, really keen and interested in this bag I had. Now, at the time, I had no idea how to even pronounce the word written on that bag. It was a bag. It was a Gucci shopping bag, which I had gotten from somewhere, and I had no idea. And it said Gucci on it. And suddenly, this girl felt very attracted because it's a very fancy brand. So she came up to me and started talking to me. And she's so interested about where I got this bag from and what did I buy and why do I have a Gucci bag with me. And I had no interest because I had no clue. It just ended up being with me. And I realized that she was trying to be my friend because suddenly I was cool because I had this shopping bag, which obviously didn't have any shopping from Gucci in it. It had other things, but she kind of presumed that if I have a Gucci bag, I shop at Gucci. And she wanted to be my friend. And she went on asking questions about, oh, so you do this and what do you do? And you buy stuff and did you buy anything? And I'm just really confused. Why is she talking to me like that, right? And then it occurred to me that it wasn't me that she was really interested in being friendly, but it was what she thought I possessed and what maybe my interest in buying and shopping and what my living standard may be. And that's why she was attracted to me and she wanted to be my friend. And I can't forget it because it was such a stark moment for me where I realized that I wasn't being valued, but what I possessed was being valued, which was also an illusion. It wasn't even me who possessed anything from Gucci. It was just a bag. So people will want to give us, that respect and reputation and love and want to like us because of my visibility. What clothes I wear, what actions I do, what I say, what my manners are, what I possess. Now, all of these things, which I'm calling visibility, are things which are tangible things of form, right? They are not unseen things. They're not formless things. They are all things of the form. They're things of the manifested world. They're things of tangible dunya. And the goodness that I hold, the intention that I hold is not seen. It's not of my visibility. My intentions and my goodness are in my heart. People around me can perhaps get an idea of what my intentions are or what my goodness is, but they can never really see it because it's a hidden, it's my hidden thing. It's my hidden possession. It's not on display. What is on display are all of these things. So my point over here is that worldly respect and worldly reputation comes only from worldly things. Worldly respect is from people who are perishable, and it depends on possessions and things which are also perishable. So it's a very fleeting idea to seek respect and reputation from the world, because all of this is starting from a point of flaw and imperfection and non-permanence, and it is based on all of my qualities which are also non-permanent, right? Today I may have fancy clothes, tomorrow I may not, Today I may have speech, tomorrow I may not be able to talk or make nice comments or have good jokes. You know, some and manners, like sometimes I may be in my really bad low point and someone may see me screaming at a grocery store or losing it on the road with road rage or something, and that's it. And I would come home thinking, oh my God, my reputation is ruined, my respect is gone because somebody saw me in my worst. And my possessions are there today, tomorrow they may not be there. So the idea of seeking reputation and honor from the world is a very, very perishable and fleeting idea. Now, when I'm feeling loved, so we said that if we're respected and we have a good reputation with people, we get favors or risk and we get praise. And all of this depends on perishable things. But when I'm feeling this acceptance, when I'm feeling this validation and acceptance, I'm feeling validated, I feel accepted, I feel like I belong, and I feel like somebody trusts me with who I am. Okay. And if somebody says, I can vouch for her, oh, she's a really good person, or you can do business with her, she's an honest business person, you know, it makes me feel like, oh, wow, I feel so boosted. I feel so good about myself. Somebody else vouched for me. And all of this together comes from people and gives me a little bit of that courage to go out in the world and show myself and say, you know what? I think I have a good reputation and respect in the eyes of people, and I can go out there and be myself because I'm accepted the way I am right now. But what happens if all of this is based on what people are uh, describing of me and giving to me? And if it is all based on people, then this courage and validation and acceptance and belonging can quickly change because people themselves are very temporary in their nature, in their likes and dislikes, and and their preferences. And so we are kind of putting our eggs in the wrong nest, because if we put all of our expectations of respect and love and acceptance in the hands of the world and people, then surely tomorrow we'll be disappointed. That's why we want to come back to the idea of Ilah. Who is Ilah? Ilah is the one who keeps us safe and protected, and he preserves us and he liberates us. How? The way he does that is that he is Al-Hafiz, the one who protects. And he is the one who protects us from any bad cheating that anybody can do. Anybody who can cheat us, God won't let it happen. Okay. Now, a lot of times we say, but I did get cheated. You know, people do cheat. There are bad people out there. I'm just going to go there in a minute. But if my God is my protector and I am counting on him, then I can remember one thing, that all risk comes from him. All favors come from him. All friendships come from him. All the people in my life come from him, you know. My sustenance comes from him. My abundance comes from him. If I disconnect from that horizontal dependence on people and I go into that vertical connection directly with God, and I say that my favors and my my risk comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I'm starting to say that I don't need respect and reputation from people. Do you see? Because the only reason I was seeking respect and reputation from people is because they were giving me something in return. So just sit and think in your head for 2 minutes. Why is it do we seek respect and reputation from people? Is because we rely on them for certain things in return. Because if they respect and if they give us a good reputation, then in return, they will give us praise. And if they give us praise, they'll put in a good word for us. Now, what's the point of putting a good word for us? If somebody puts in a good word, then you get a good job, you get invited to places, you make better connections. But you get discounts, shop sales, I don't know. But all of these things are things that we should not even be relying on people for, because all the keys of all the treasures are in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if Allah is the one who gives me, and if Allah is my protector, then I don't need this intermediaries conduit of people giving me something. And if I don't require people to give me anything, then I don't require for them to respect me. I don't require for them to put me in their good books. And secondly, so the risk is coming from God. Number two, the praise that I seek from people, if I truly understand that all praise is only and only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All good, everything good that is in me, physical, possessions, whatever we were saying, everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing is of me, nothing is from me. Then what am I seeking this praise for? Why am I seeking praise from people when I'm not deserving of receiving that praise, right? Because it's all from God. Yes, of course, we always like to be praised if we're looking pretty, if we made something nice, if we cook good food, we want to be praised. But we have to go deep into this, and we have to understand, why do I need this praise from people? So what we want to practice and bring into our daily life is to say, when anybody gives us praise, we receive it with gratitude, and we say, I'm really grateful for receiving this praise, but it's all from him. So thank you, alhamdulillah, thank you, but alhamdulillah, all praise is for him. When we start practicing this, which my teacher did with me a few years ago, and it has really changed the way I see praise, is that we start to see ourselves as a very empty vessel through which God works. So whether you write a book, or you give a speech, or you cook good food, or you make a painting, that skill and those faculties and that flavor in food, or those ingredients in the food, or those paints, or those colors, or the composition of that painting, and even the inspiration to create that thing, to put all of this together, everything is his. The inspiration is his, the ingredients are his, the colors are his, the tawfiq is his, the ability to move my hands is his, the ability to translate my ideas onto a piece of paper or into a food dish, it's all coming from him. None of this in this creation was me. I was simply a vessel. I was simply being used for God to put his work through. I'm just an agency. I am not the source. So Tawheed requires us to be in a state of vigilance in every moment that I am not the source. If I'm not the source, this is not mine. And if anybody's praising me, then this praise belongs in the right place, which is with God, not me. Because there is nothing but him. If there's nothing but him, then everything is his, and everything good praised is actually being is actually a praise of God. And so we realize that the giver of risk is God, and all praise is diverted to God. So these two things that we seek from people, that honor and respect that we seek from people, it's because in return we want their praise. We want to be in their good books. But all praise is God's. And we think that if we have good connections with people, it will somehow affect our risk of having good friends, of having a better community connection, of having more connections for getting our work done, and all of that. The source of all kinds of risk, whether it's knowledge, whether it's good connections, whether it's getting my work done, whether it's getting invited, whether it's friends, the source of all of that is God. And a mystic or a seeker of God, when we come on this path, we realize that whatever we need, it gets fulfilled even before we ask for it. And friends walk into our life without us even thinking or making an effort to make those friends. And abundance and risk, it enters your life from places you can't even imagine. Like there's an ayat in Surah Talaq which says, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَل لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. So your risk is going to come from la yahtasib. You can't even do hisab of it. You can't even imagine from where it will come. And honestly, if we start living our life on those principles, then we start to see these miracles, right? And I think Ghulam Uncle will have something really nice to say here. But it's all like Albert Einstein would say, that either you can live your life as if nothing is a miracle, or you can live your life as if everything is a miracle. And once you enter this space where you remove people as the idols we worship, where we seek our honor from, and we think these people can give us respect and honor, if we remove them and we make God the source of everything, then miracles happen every day, in every moment. And what else starts happening is that this feeling of validation, feeling of acceptance, feeling of belonging, and feeling of being trusted that we so dearly seek from people, it starts to emanate from within us. It starts to emanate through this bond with God, because now God becomes the source of validation for us. How? In our spiritual journey, our teachers, they advise us that before you go to bed every day, you do accountability. So you do a process of doing a journal, or you mentally think, what did I do the whole day? And how did I go about my day? What did I do? How did I behave with everybody? All of that. And this is a hadith I repeat again and again. If for a believer, 2 days should not be the same. And we need to be improving every day. We need to be doing ourselves better in our akhlaq every day, in character, in our goodness every day. So now, how do we, at night when we go to sleep and we do this accountability with God, how is it that we can create this connection where God becomes enough? So this is something that happens with me a lot, right? Because I talk a lot. Because I talk a lot, sometimes I say really weird things. And I used to do this a lot more earlier on. Like I would say things and then I would regret and I'd say, oh, what did I just say? And I would feel awful. And I would feel like, let me just drown right now, because how could I have said something like that, right? And I would make that mistake. And obviously this feeling would take over that I have made a fool of myself, or I have just ruined my reputation in the eyes and respect in the eyes of these people, because what did I just do? In that moment, the practice that has helped me the most is to understand that People don't matter. What matters is my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the way I gauge that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is by going back to my intention. Now, I may have said something very weird or funny or foolish or uncool, right? But what was my intention? Was my intention mean? Was it malicious? Was it gossipy? Was it to spread a rumor? Was it to slander somebody? Was it a lie? Was I saying something to be manipulative? Was I saying something to cheat somebody? And if it was none of those things, and it was just merely an uncool comment or a bad joke, then honestly, I'm clear with God. Because with God, it is the intention that matters. That's why doing life with a strong relationship with God makes life so easy that we saw the translation of the word Ilah as the one who liberates. It is so liberating to be in connection with Allah and being worried about what Allah thinks of me compared to what people think of me. Because with Allah, like we said, it's so simple. With Allah, we just go, we check our intention, we purify our intention, we ask for forgiveness, and we're done. And that's it. And one of the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is so beautiful, is that Allah never ever rubs things in our faces. You know, He doesn't like say, oh, I did this for you, and now you're coming to ask for forgiveness, but your apology wasn't good enough, and blah, blah, right? Which is what people would do. With Allah, it's so simple. My intention was in the right place. I didn't have a bad intention. I did this thing. Okay, it's fine. I'm good. And that awkwardness we feel of making a fool of ourselves or using the wrong vocabulary in a sentence, like I said, like initially my English was really bad, right? So I was working on my speaking skills, and a lot of times I'd use the wrong word at the wrong place and I'd make a mess, like um, um, yeah, I have all these funny words in my head right now, but I don't know if it's appropriate. So like porcupine and concubine, right? I mean, I'm sorry I'm saying these words, but like I wouldn't know and I would make a big mess of myself. But did I have a bad intention? No, right? I didn't have a bad intention. But if I'm making this blooper, then where is the honor? Honor is in Allah's hands. And I didn't have a bad intention. That's why Allah is the one who will take care of my action with people. Allah is the one who will take care of my reputation with people. And eventually, when we keep doing this, then our circle becomes of those people who are also deeply genuine, who don't care about the superficial, dainty things. You know, our circle, our friends also come in our life who will see the deeper goodness in us, and they will stick around, uh, not worrying about what you own, how rich you are, what you wear, you know, how you speak, is your accent okay? Because, you know, in Pakistan, we have this complex that, you know, if we speak in English, we're really cool. If we have bad accent English or bad grammar English, then we're not so cool. So, you know, it's all of these things that people find very superficial. And if we stay on the superficial and we're constantly working on superficial, then our friends will also be superficial. But if we go deeper and we say, no, you know, none of this matters. Allah takes care of my respect and honor. I made a mistake, but my intention was good. Allah will take care of my risk. Allah will take care of my honor. Allah will take care of my reputation. He will not dishonor me. But what happens when sometimes we think deeply and we realize, wait a second, I actually said something because I was envious. Or I said something because I didn't realize, but I was manipulating this person into buying something that I had, for example, right? So I was being manipulative. I didn't realize it. Okay. So in that situation, you say, okay, it seems like my intention was not in the right place, but it was not an intentional intention. I was not intentionally trying to be malicious. Unintentionally, I was malicious. So, what do I need to do? I need to take an account of myself with God, ask for forgiveness, become aware of this mistake, and make it right. If I can make it right with the person, make it right, and make a pledge not to do it again. But what if we are really in that place where we genuinely did something which was not okay? We said something which was very mean, we were not in control, we did something bad, and now we've made a mess. What do we need to do? Come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We recognize what we've done, recognize, okay, I said these things, they were done out of bad intention. I'm feeling horrible about it. But now what do I do? So now, obviously, first thing, we talk to Allah, we ask for His forgiveness, we tell Him to put our affairs in the right, guide us, help us, make it easy for us. And so many times it's not easy to ask those people for forgiveness. And it takes a lot out of us to go and ask for forgiveness. But sometimes it's very important that we do that. It is very, very important that we apologize for our bad behavior, for the bad things we've said, malicious things we've done. We're humans, we make mistakes. But we have to find the liberation in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the safety of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I need to clear my paper. I need to keep my accounts clean before I go to bed. And hence, I need to go to this person and apologize. And it takes a lot out of the ego. It takes a lot out of our sense of self-respect, the reputation we think we're maintaining. But believe me, if we become accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and keeping Him as our guardian with a very aware intention, and we go back to this person who we have wronged and we apologize, the only thing that will happen out of that incident is that Allah will give you 10 million times more honor and respect. Because a person who plays by what is rightful, does not dishonor people, apologizes, humbles themselves, Allah becomes their honor. When we humble ourselves, if we go down, if we humble ourselves, we sink, we go into sajda. In Urdu, we have this saying, naak zameen pe ragarna. Okay, like you take your nose and you put it on the ground. Now, some people will say that it's a term which is used when if somebody dishonors you, it's like saying they put my nose in the ground, But in English, we say nose up in the air. When somebody's arrogant, we say, oh, her nose is up in the air, right? But when you're humbling yourself, your nose is out down in the ground. And so when we do sajda, actually, our nose touches the ground. It's a very physical practice of humbling ourselves. And 5 times a day, so many times when we put our nose on the ground, it's a literally physical practice of becoming comfortable with being humble. It just makes you comfortable with being a person who's on the ground, who is humble enough, so that at any point in our lives, if we need to humble ourselves, because we make mistakes all the time, and if we are in a position where we've got to apologize, then it's not that difficult for us to do it, because our egos get in the way. And apologizing is so difficult. And so where we thought that accepting my mistake and going and apologizing is going to ruin my reputation or respect and honor, in Allah's eyes, it is actually the elevation of our respect and honor. And in that sense, our conscience becomes lighter. We feel free, we feel light, we feel clear. And in that way, with Allah, our honor always stays protected. And in life, we always see that when we make Allah the guardian of our reputation and respect, and we see what Allah did with Bibi Maryam, right? Bibi Maryam was feeling like, what is happening? Like, I never even imagined that, like I would have to give birth to a child out of a wedlock, and what the whole world is gonna say, that this, pure girl, pure woman has committed this sin. And then she's saying, I wish I had died, because as a human being, obviously, these things are a challenge that puts a burden on the soul, right? And Maryam was going through this, and Allah was challenging her journey through this, and she was growing through this. And Maryam is saying, I wish I were dead. And then Allah says, look, I will protect your honor. You just don't say anything. And a lot of times in life, we have to do that. If something happens to our honor, we hand it over to Allah. And we say, you protected Maryam's honor, and Maryam went silent, and you spoke for her. I'm going to go quiet, and you speak for me. And in the spiritual path, a lot of times, even Allama Hussain Tabatabai writes about this in his book, Kernel of the Kernel, that in our journey, when the heart starts to guide us and starts to speak to us about what the next steps in our journey are, or what we're supposed to do, there will be a lot of things that we'll have to do which will not be what people approve of. So being a people pleaser and seeking people's approval has to break off at some point. And it's very difficult, right? And what the last thing that I want to share today is just go back to the Quran and notice that every prophet is tested and challenged in their spiritual journey with that thing which was difficult for them. For Maryam, it was her chastity that was very precious to her. Allah tested her through that, right? So we'll see now. We see that Zachariah really, really wanted to have a child, and he was really old when he had his child. But Yahya, if I'm not mistaken, Hazrat Yahya was the son of Hazrat Zachariah. He was martyred at a very young age. And they say that the martyrdom of Hazrat Yahya is very similar to the martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So what was precious was tested. We see Ibrahim again. He was begging Allah for a child, and we see that he didn't have child with the first wife, and then he gets a child, and then Hazrat Ibrahim has this Ismail, and then again he has to sacrifice Ismail. So constantly we see that prophets also are tested with that which is difficult for them, and which is something that they need to let go. They have to let go of that and hand it over to God. So what I was saying to some mothers recently, we were sitting in a group, and me included, is that there was a mother who was okay with her children's clothing, whatever they wear. The only thing that she had a problem with was she didn't like her daughter wearing low necks. Okay. Now the other mother had an issue with her daughter wearing anything that was fancy. So there were different levels, right? Each mother has a different level of what they're comfortable with their children. Some have clothes, some something. Now, the mother who was okay with fancy clothes didn't have a child who was wearing fancy clothes. The mother who was okay with fancy clothes had a child who wanted to wear low necks. So their challenge was one step ahead. But the mother who was not okay with, who was okay with low necks had a different challenge. So you don't ever get to, be complacent. You'll always be challenged with something where there is growth for you. And what I saw there with all these mothers and their they're talking and they're like, if we could just exchange kids, we would just be fine, right? But each person had a child who was challenging their limits. And what I saw there was that, can we as parents even not judge our children and accept them the way they are? And then what? Leave our children in Allah's hands. Because once they become teenagers and once they grow, I'm going through this because my daughter's turning 16. And I'm just like, I'm really feeling the whole burn of it when kids grow up, because you have to let go and you have to hand them over to God with all the things that they're doing and the way the environment is. We also attach our honor and respect with our children. A lot of times we feel that what our children do, it reflects on me. So what my child does will reflect what good mother am I? What teachings did I teach her? Did I bring her up okay? Does she show that we are a noble family? Does my daughter go out and present to people that we are people of good reputation? Do we have good respect? So a lot of times when our children will push our limits with their clothes, with the language they use, the music they play, the friends they hang around with, a lot of times it's coming out of these fears within us, which are nothing to do with the child. They're everything to do with our own inner feelings of insecurity and feeling like our children are an extension of our validation and our acceptance in the society. And me as a mother, I want to feel respected and good reputation, so my child needs to be a certain way. And if I don't become aware of these things, then I may be behaving in a way that may um, it may take away from my child her right to grow in the way she needs to grow, to explore the things she needs to explore, to make the mistakes that she needs to make, to learn to do life in her own way to God, to explore her own path to God, because I'm so busy protecting my honor through her that I make her an extension of myself. So I will end the session here and with a dua. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Oh Allah, we come to you full of our flaws and our imperfections. We come to you with our inhibitions and our insecurities and our constricted hearts and our fragile sense of honor. Oh Allah, we come to you with all of this brokenness and we hand it over to you, Ya Allah, to strengthen us with your love and your validation and your priceless trust in us. Oh Allah, while the world doesn't trust us as a mother, you trusted us and you gave us these children. Oh Allah, fill our hearts with your honor and your respect and your love and your accountability. And fill our hearts with accountability only and only to you, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, help us to break away all the other idols that hold us back from our authentic journey towards you, that hold us back from the authentic journey that we need to take within ourselves to find our true selves. Oh Allah, let not this life be a waste, and let us not return without exploring and without actualizing the potential that we came here to achieve. Oh Allah, you are our only and only helper. You are our Nasir. Oh Allah, we come to you and we ask you for help for even those things within us, for even those trials in our life for which we don't even realize we need help. Oh Allah, pick us up and help us and hold our hand and guide us where we need to go. Oh Allah, at times we don't even know how to pray. We don't even know what to ask for. We don't even know where to look and what to do. Oh Allah, you are the Dalil al-Mutahayyirin. You are the proof of the confused. Oh Allah, have mercy on our doubts and confusions and make us come into a state of certainty that only descends upon the hearts of those who fall in love with you. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen.